Hello, and welcome to another update video on Bitcoin. We start on the daily chart. I was asked specifically by some of our members in our community to talk a little bit more about how it would work out if direct upside extensions play out. That means if we continue to see the price grind higher, how would it work? And would this all still be part of the wave 5 to the upside that we're tracking anyway? Do we need to make any changes to the wave count? And since we've seen yesterday another push higher, not really a breakout above all-time highs yet, so the bears are clearly strong in this region. Because of that, I wanted to take a moment, talk to you about the relevant structures here on the daily chart, and really, we can keep it quite simple, right? We can keep it so simple. I've been sharing over the last few days, last week, that we have the key level here on the daily chart that needs to hold at $100,750. I mean, or dollars. That's still the main level. Yeah, this is the swing low from Monday the 12th. As long as this level is holding, there's absolutely no sign from a daily chart point of view that a pullback has started. And since then, we've been grinding higher. Yeah, slowly, not much has happened, right? I mean, not much. I mean, yeah, it's pushed a bit higher, but not really with a lot of upside momentum. Now, that can change because if we follow the yellow scenario, which is the direct move to the upside, we talked about that in previous updates quite a bit because I wanted to prepare everybody for direct extensions. Now, you might remember that I showed you that it's possible that this AB structure finished here already. We might not see that deeper pullback. But obviously, that scenario needs to hold, at least based on what we see right now. It needs to hold the $100,750 level, right? It's doing that at the moment. Because only below that level, we have a first indication that some kind of a top is in place. And then we can start to focus on the support area here between 80,740 and 93,810. So, so someone asked me yesterday in the comments, so is there not going to be another pullback to 90K? Now, I haven't confirmed one yet, right? So we are still in an uptrend. The bears have not yet started the downtrend. Therefore, we can't really expect this pullback. It's always difficult to explain that because, yes, we are watching for it, but no level is broken. The trend is still up, right? So we should really only start to think about a top is in once we see some evidence on the smaller time frame, which we've seen before. But then the daily chart did not confirm that. So we can watch for, let's say, shifts to momentum on the smaller time frame, breaks of support levels. These are the first indications, but really it takes a bit more to confirm that a pullback of this size has started, like a break below 100,750. So I just want to explain again the importance of this level. Now, as long as this level is holding, we can expect further upside extensions because that's the trend that's currently running, right? And my kind of milestone target is still around 130K. So this has been talking about this since, I don't know, October, November, maybe even longer. That I want this cycle, the price to get to around about 130K. It's not absolutely needed, but we're really getting closer and closer. Now, this can happen in this ABC structure, obviously, ABC. Or we've seen already the AB structure, but then the B wave was extremely shallow, and we're going up more directly in a C wave. And then this would be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are just two potentials. I mean, essentially, there are other scenarios. It's the wave A could also extend just once more, even though at some point this becomes a little less likely, but that's still possible. Can still extend. Only if we really see a rapid increase in upside momentum now. I would clearly favor here the third wave to the upside. Yeah? Of course, the bearish case is still possible in the red count, but there's no, again, we haven't even got a signal that the white wave A has topped. So overall, still a bullish case. Okay, someone asked me a few days ago, why am I not talking about the bullish case? And I think we've been talking about the bullish case every single day, right? So didn't quite understand that comment, but sometimes people only watch, the short-term chart, and yeah, it might sometimes, depending on what's happening, make the impression that there's some short-term downside pressure, but please always consider the context. It's so important. Yeah, it's very important. Also to understand the weekly chart and so on. So yeah. But that should give you all the levels. And next resistance is around 109,000 here. This is the January high. That should be quite strong resistance. So that's also why some selling pressure comes in. That distorts the fact that there is such important resistance, that does distort the micro patterns, yeah. It does distort the micro patterns because we don't really have very, very clear structures from yesterday's low. So we'll talk about that now on the smaller time frame. Looking at the shorter time frame, I think the commentary from yesterday still stands. I mean, there is a case to be made that a low formed, some kind of a low. It could be a wave 4, could be a wave 2. I just showed you that possible wave 2 on the larger time frame. Here on Monday the 19th, we had an initial 5-wave move up and a 3-wave pullback. That was a solid opportunity. Price has reacted to support, but not really in an impulsive manner. So, this is a messy structure. So I've got a few levels here to watch. We had this resistance area or target area, initial target area, which is a pivot. Let's call it a pivot. The price has reacted to it. Selling pressure is coming in. But again, that's just on the smaller time frame. We haven't taken out any important swing low. And my last commentary was around, ideally, to keep the direct pathway higher intact, the market ideally stays above the last swing low at 105,250. We're holding above that at the moment, above this level. Below that level, not everything is lost. The market could retest this support area. That's still relevant. Therefore, it's still on the chart between 103,084 and $104,443. So against those, we can still watch if the market continues to push higher. Again, I mentioned it yesterday, I think a B wave bounce here, that this was just some kind of a high B wave, is quite likely. So we might retest those levels down there. But overall, the structure hasn't changed. So we need really an increase in direct upside momentum to clearly favor a direct extension. So far, support levels is holding. And I think the conclusion is we're still in an uptrend. Selling pressure is coming in, but the bulls are still stronger at the moment. No 5-wave move down, no break below significant support levels, and most importantly, the 100,750 level is holding. When in such an environment we see a 1-2 setup, it can be an opportunity, but please note that this is not an ideal trade location on the daily time frame. Yeah, we might or might not see a deep pullback, so how you act on this depends always on your own holdings. That's the update on Bitcoin. Hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.